You guys want to hear something messed up? So today I got notified that I'm going to be getting my bachelor's degree, right? Because I went to school for human development and family studies. And although I'm going to be graduating with a bachelor's in individualized studies because I couldn't do my internship, I'm still going to have all the classes in human development and everything. So I thought, okay, I'm going to apply for graduation. And in doing so, I was looking up jobs. Well, in my area where I live, if you're making probably $25 to $30 an hour, like that's a pretty good paying job. And so I was looking up this job for the state. It was to be basically a case manager for people with disabilities, and it was like $51,000 or $52,000 a year, which I think I calculated it. It said it was something like $26 or $27 an hour, which that's pretty good. Most state jobs have like a pretty good health insurance plan where you only got to pay maybe like $100 a month for your family. Most have like 2 weeks paid vacation, and then I estimated like a minimum contribution to a 401k at like 3%. So I started calculating all that out, and I was like, okay, let's subtract taxes, Social Security, disability, Medicaid, health insurance, all of this, and my final take home for the year was $38,000. I'm like, okay, that's not great, but whatever, it's probably doable. So anyway, I'm also a Spark delivery driver. I do deliveries for Walmart. And on average, I make about $25 an hour. That really depends. Sometimes I average more, depending. But I was like, okay, working part-time, doing deliveries, even if I did 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, I estimated it that would be $39,000 a year. Now, if my math is off, don't come after me. I was Googling this, okay? I was just putting in information and trying to get numbers really quick. So I would make about $39,000. Well, I'm also a mom of one, just me and him, so I do also get state insurance for healthcare. I get housing to help me pay for my rent, and I do get food share. And don't come after me for that either, because I'm telling you, like, we don't sit and just buy tons of junk food. We eat pretty healthy for the most part. But anyway, so I'm sitting here trying to think of what my best course of action is to go about my future. And a lot of people would tell you, like, oh, you should just go work 40 hours a week and do it because that's what you're supposed to do. We all don't want to pay for you to be on state assistance, whatever, which I'm not like some big moocher. I also work. I have 2 jobs. I work from home, and I also do deliveries on the side. And I have contemplated back and forth just doing deliveries part-time because I like doing it. I can make decent money. I get good exercise. I love to do the shopping orders where I have to run in the store and grab everything for you. I love doing it. And so I started calculating, okay, if my take-home pay from doing deliveries is $39,000, plus you subtract all the taxes, fees, Social Security, self-employment tax, all of this stuff, I think it came down to about $30,000, and that was with my deductions of like insurance, phone, like I have all my taxes stuff figured out, but it was like $30,000. And that $30,000 that I take home also includes about $11,000 in housing, about $6,000 in food every year, and paid health insurance, which I put a value at about $200 a month. And so I'm sitting here writing down all these numbers, right? I'm like, okay, I got my bachelor's degree. I want to get this $27 an hour job. State job, it would be 40 hours a week, 5 days, 40 hours a week, 8-hour days, 5 days a week, and probably 2 weeks paid vacation. I calculated that out. I calculated like a 3% 401k investment on their end, and it's still, so then figure your take home from the state would be $38,000, right? But now minus that $11,000 for the housing, minus that $6,000 for the food, and minus figure $200 a month for insurance for me and my family, whatever, and that actually equals out to about $20,000 less than what I get working deliveries part-time. Now let me break this down even more. So like I said, $39,000 take home for delivery. After taxes, all that stuff, blah, 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 $30,000. But I'm also getting $11,000 in free housing. I'm also getting $6,000 in free food. I'm also getting free healthcare. So then it's like, okay, I'm going to work 35 hours a week and take home more and more benefits, more food, more whatever than I am with a bachelor's degree working 40 hours a week after taxes, fees, deductions, insurance. Even with the benefit of paid vacation and 401k investment, I'm still taking home like 20 grand less a year. And that blew my mind. I was like, I just went to school for 4 years to want to work through the state just to realize I would be making less than I do getting assistance and working. Well, I mean, that'd still be full-time, I guess, 35 hours a week people consider full-time, but is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? So as you can see, like, I'm a person where I do things based on what makes sense, and that does not make sense to me. It does not make sense, but what it also clarifies to me is that this is why our country is struggling. Our country is struggling because as a single person with a child, I cannot go out and get a full-time job and afford health insurance. Plus that is not even counting that I would have to pay wraparound care for my son if I had a job outside of the home. His school offers wraparound care for, I think it's $5 an hour. I would need it 2 hours a day, and I think I estimated that as another $2,000 expense. So not only would I get to spend less time with my son, have limited amount on vacation I can take, because if you miss too much work you get in trouble, right? Then you get taxes, fees, all that stuff taken out, plus your insurance, plus you're having to pay for your own housing, your own food, your own health insurance. That's not even including probably deductibles and anything that I'll have. And so that just really blew my mind. And here I am sitting here feeling proud of myself because not a lot of people in my family have degrees, and I'm like, I just got a bachelor's from, a local university that I've always wanted to go to, a state university. And which I do still feel proud. I love to learn, I love to go to school, I love to be educated and learn things, and it's helped me understand a lot of stuff going to school for human development and family studies, and it really is a good program. But when you think about it, it's like, this is why our economy is crap, because someone like me can sit and do deliveries all day, be self-employed, and then even after taxes, fees, whatever, if for you guys that aren't understanding how that works, so because I'm self-employed, my expenses are high, right? Because I'm putting on almost 200 miles a day on my car. Now I get that sometimes it can be a risk because your car can break down, whatever, but it's like either way you think about it, because my expenses are more than my income's not really counted when it comes to state assistance. And yes, I do all of this legally, I file taxes, I report everything, I always have. I'm not gonna get in trouble and lose everything just because I'm not that greedy. But so because with your self-employment, the delivery income, because your expenses are a lot more, because you can count mileage. I also count insurance, phone. You can get like 50% of the food that you buy while you're working, and then you can't claim your car payment, but you can claim, I think, 20% on the interest on your car. And so that's why I still get all my benefits, even though it looks like on paper I make pretty decent money. When it comes to technically, I don't, because my expenses are pretty much more than my income, quote unquote. And but it's just mind-blowing to think that a part-time delivery driver, well, full-time, like I said, 35 hours, can actually make more money, have a more flexible life, have probably more time with their kids, and not have to worry about losing their job because they have to miss work. Like, some jobs are unrealistic. Like, you could point out and someone in your family could die or be sick or go to the hospital, and sorry, you ran out of points, so you're going to lose your job. Now you're screwed and you're going to be homeless. That's how this economy stinking sucks. So I just wanted to point that out, that was really crazy to me, that I realized I'm better off staying a delivery driver, getting assistance. I still work my butt off. It's very, it can be physical when you're running around, you're lifting things, cases of water. It depends on what you have. Like, I like to do the shopping orders where I'm literally running. But is that not crazy? Is that not the reason why this economy sucks and people can't afford to live? Because you go to work, you go to school, get what you think is a good full-time paying job, just to realize that someone who's uneducated and could entry level go do deliveries is taking home more money than you and benefiting more than you and getting more time with their family. So I've realized it's either I'm going to sit and do deliveries, or I'm going to go back on to school for my master's degree and do counseling, because that's what I originally was going to do. And that's really the only thing that I think is going to pay. So if you ever wonder, if you see me running around doing deliveries and still getting assistance, it's like, well, why? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us moms to go out and work full time and risk spending time with our kids. So, food for thought today.